Alright guys, so today we're going to talk about the Stage Sound Hero 5 True Wireless Earbuds. Now this is a very inexpensive pair of earbuds. It shows that its retail price comes in at $40, but right now on Amazon you can actually pick them up for under $30. They're like $29.99. And they did send a code for you guys to use if you did want to order it on their site. I will put all that information in the description below, but I was hesitant about checking these out because companies reach out all the time wanting me to check out their earbuds. And there's a lot of them in the under $30 or under $50 category that's really not worth talking about. I mean, the audio is usually bad or things just don't function the way that they're supposed to. So a lot of those I just call throwaway earbuds. They come in, I check them out, just enough to know that they're not worth telling you guys about, so they just kind of get tossed to the side or just tossed in the trash. But this pair had some interesting features and has a sound signature that I think a lot of people would be interested in. So I wanted to check it out. And some things that really stood out about them is they come with 13mm drivers, but it does say that it has precise acoustic tuning for a perfect balance of low, mids, and highs. But we'll find out about that because we'll talk about that when we talk about the audio. But I want to start this with saying, as soon as I started testing these, I was already ready to write them off as a pair that I didn't want to talk about. There was some kind of imbalance in the audio. It sounded like one earbud was a little bit louder than the other. And I always go through the instruction manual to see what the controls are and things like that. And this is the first time that in an instruction manual, this is what it says in here. It's basically saying that the earbuds need burn-in time. It'll eliminate any inconsistency of the sound of the left and the right, and it will enhance the bass and the treble. I've never seen that in an instruction manual, and I'm glad that I saw that because I would have just thought this is a cheap pair of earbuds that has one earbud louder than the other and it wasn't worth checking out. So it basically recommends that you just play sound consistently for about 30 minutes. That way it just balances itself out, and it actually did. Now, as far as technology that's in these, it is Bluetooth 5.0. Now there is no aptX playback, but there is AAC and SBC. And these also have an ultra low latency gaming mode because these technically are gaming earbuds, but the gaming mode is also a bass boost mode. So this pair does not have any way to EQ these, but you have a normal mode, which they're calling their music mode. And then the gaming mode is what boosts the audio overall, and it cuts down the latency down to 60 milliseconds. Now, when you're in gaming mode, you're not going to be able to walk as far away from your device. It is going to eat up a little bit more of your battery. And also, while it's in gaming mode, the earbuds have this little green light, and it kind of pulses the whole time that you're using them if you're going to leave it into gaming mode. And I really wish that they found a way to turn this off because if some people prefer the sound signature of gaming mode, they might not want that light just constantly pulsing the whole time that they're using them. Now, as far as using these outdoors, there is no official IP rating on these, so I don't know how resistant they are to splashes and rain and things like that. I definitely would not submerge them into water, and I don't know if this company just assumed if you're a gamer that you probably don't go outside anyway, so they decided it didn't need an IP rating. I'm not sure. I'm a gamer. I like to go outside, so I'm not judging. I'm just saying. Now, as far as everything that you're getting inside the box, you do get 3 sets of silicone ear tips. And this is one of those pairs, I run into this from time to time when I'm changing out ear tips on earbuds, that you actually have to have a complete seal to be able to get very good sound out of these. Now, I know that's the case with a lot of earbuds, but it really does have a huge effect on this pair. So I found that I needed to switch these around to find the right one, but you also have to make sure the earbuds are positioned just right, or you're just not gonna get the most out of these. And as far as the charging cable that it comes with, it does come with a USB-C cable. And of course, in this price range, it's kind of hard to expect this, but there is no Qi wireless charging on the case. So it's not wireless charging compatible. And speaking of the charging, battery life is pretty decent. On the earbuds themselves, you're going to get around 5 hours, where with the charging case, you actually get 40 hours total. There's a lot of brands that I've seen out there, a lot more expensive brands that don't even hit that 40-hour mark. So I think that's nice that it has that, but it also has a fast charge feature. So once you plow through the 5 hours on the earbuds, you can pop them back in the case, and a 10-minute charge will get you an hour and a half worth of use. So it's nice just to have that feature. And again, there's some more expensive brands that don't always have a fast charge feature. Now moving over to actually looking at the case itself, they went with a round pebble-like design. I actually like the look of these, other than the fact that the material on the outside is a fingerprint magnet. For some reason, like, you could barely touch these and you're gonna have fingerprints all over them, so you'll find yourself just kind of wiping them off quite a bit. On the bottom of the case, you can see the USB-C input. On the back, you actually have a Bluetooth pairing button. And then around on the front, there is just a single indicator light. That way you can just kind of gauge how much battery life is left on the case. Now, when you open up the lid, which is actually kind of cool the way that it opens on the top, I do like the design of this. But once you pull the earbuds out, they are pretty simple. They're all made of plastic. It's an extremely light earbud. The earbud itself, the part that goes into your ear, kind of reminds me a lot of the AirPod Pros. But on the outside, you have the little V, which is where the lighting happens. And then the flat surface up top is where your touch controls are located. And these allow you to control everything but the volume. This is, again, one of those companies that just wants you to pull out your phone or summon your smart assistant to be able to control the volume, and I just prefer to have it all on the earbuds. So on the earbuds, you have your play, your pause, you can skip your tracks forward, you can go backwards, and then you can also switch it between the music mode and the gaming mode. So I do like that you can do that, but I still wish that it had volume control. Now, for you guys that do like to use your earbuds individually, I am happy to say that they do switch over into mono mode on either the left or the right. And that way you can use whichever one you want and you're not gonna miss out on what the other earbud is playing. And then the microphones that are on these were actually quite surprising because most of the inexpensive earbuds have some of the worst mics that I've heard. It sounds like you're just talking out of a tin can. It's very hard to understand. And I think because these are gaming earbuds, they know that you're gonna use them to talk to different people online. And you can tell that they focused on this, and I think they did a pretty okay job. But you guys can be a judge by listening to a test here. All right, guys, so here is the mic test on the Stage Sound Hero 5s. I have to admit, for a microphone and a $30 pair of earbuds, I was quite impressed. I feel like it picks up my voice very well. I feel like people will have no issue being able to tell what I'm saying, but this is what it would sound like if you were to take a call. And so now here is a mic test with a crowd noise being played, which you can hear here. And so this is what it would sound like if you were to take a call in public. So now let's talk about the sound, because the sound on these is definitely a Jekyll and Hyde situation, because in music mode, it is almost fairly flat. It still has a U-shaped sound signature where the bass is elevated a little bit. The mids are definitely pushed forward in both modes, in gaming mode or music mode, and then the treble has a slight boost to it as well. So if you like things a little more controlled and not so in your face, you definitely want to leave it in this mode. But if you are the opposite and you want things just as pumped up as they can be, and you want as much bass as you could possibly handle, switch it over into gaming mode and you will hear a huge noticeable difference. But there is a problem. If you are somebody that likes to listen to your music at full blast all the time, which I don't necessarily recommend with this pair because it does get very loud. At the loudest volume setting, I noticed that the bass started to distort when it was in gaming mode, and I noticed that the treble was hitting a peak where it had that sibilant sound, basically a bright sparkle when the cymbals were crashing, or if you hear S's, it just peaked out when it was at that max volume. But if you don't listen to it at max volume, the gaming mode was quite surprising. It was definitely some of the most punchy bass that I've felt. It's not trying to control that at all. And then the treble on these was surprisingly bright in gaming mode. I actually did prefer listening to these in gaming mode over the music mode, because if you switch between one and the other, especially if you start out with gaming mode, it kind of sounds like the music mode is a little flat, definitely in comparison to the two. But the gaming mode just has so much life to the sound, but that also does affect the sound stage and the sound imaging. Now, the music mode feels a little more open, a little more spacious. In either mode, you're not gonna have an issue with being able to tell where things are coming from. But when you're listening to these in gaming mode, because it elevates the bass so much and the treble and it's just pushing things up, it definitely closes in your sound some. So I would say maybe in music mode, it felt like you were in a large room, but in gaming mode, it's kind of borderline between a small to medium sized room. So definitely keep that in mind. And the sound overall, I was really surprised. You don't get sound out of this in an inexpensive $30 pair of earbuds. Now, as far as my main cons with this pair, not having an IP rating is going to be a turnoff for people that like to use their earbuds at the gym. They don't have any kind of EQ options other than normal mode and then just everything boosted to hell mode. So if you like to just kind of tweak things or try to fine tune your sound a little bit, you can't do that with this pair. And then the unbalanced audio that I experienced when I first started testing these, I can see this being a problem for some people because a lot of people are not going to go and look at the instruction manual. They're going to put them in, immediately hear that one earbud is louder than the other, put them back in the box, and send them back to Amazon. So if you are watching this video, definitely make sure to just let music play for about 30 minutes, and you'll see that it somehow balances out. I don't know how this works or how they knew that it would do this, but it fixed it and made it where this is a very enticing pair for under 30 bucks because you're getting 13mm drivers that are extremely powerful. You're getting that bassy and bright sound, and also getting that low latency where you can use these for YouTube videos or movies, and also gaming is a plus. It has decent battery life, especially if you look at the case where you're getting 40 hours, and it also has fast charging. Again, for all of those features in a $30 package, this is an easy pair to recommend because you don't have a lot of money into the product, and I feel like that you're getting a fair amount of value back while using these. But that's my video on the Stage Sound Hero 5s. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Thank you so much for checking out all the other videos. And as always, make sure to stay tuned for more.